Hi, I'm Phi, and I used to be just a normal guy, until one day my life got flipped upside down. I feel like I didn't choose this path, I feel like this path chose me, and this path is becoming a modern day shaman. I've been closed off to many people over the last 4 years while I've been on this journey, secluded, kind of secret in a way. Very few people have been along this journey with me, but now I'm here to open up to all of you and let you in completely. No holding back. I'm here to spread love and to get rid of the negative stigma behind entheogens, to prove that they are not the monsters that we've been taught. And done properly, they can do great things for the human psyche and for the human race on this planet. So I invite you all to come along this journey with me and philosophize with me and share with me your own philosophies. So buckle your seatbelts and enjoy the ride. Hi, I'm Phi. My friends call me Nature, but you guys already know that. Today, I'll make a special introduction. Oh, sorry, buddy. This is my little buddy Pi. We just got him about a month ago. He's an adorable little guy, and we named him Pi because he's got infinite love. I'm gonna set you down over here, buddy. I'm sorry. Alright, first off, I want to apologize for not really making a video in a while. I guess the best way I can describe it is I've been really facing my own darkness, trying to figure out where all my pain and everything comes from, why it's there, and figuring out how to get over it. Well, just the other night, on June 21st, on the summer solstice, my wife and I decided to drop some LSD. It's the first time we've tripped since March 21st. Our trip on March 21st was very interesting. We almost didn't speak the whole trip. Everything was communicated through almost gestures and sounds, and it was very different from our candy flipping trip before that I described. But this most recent one, the trip started off a little lame, and I've spoke before in videos in the past about how LSD truly is the alchemist's drug. So this trip started off kind of lame, so we decided to smoke a bong to try to enhance it a little bit, and then from there meditating. And we were sitting there beginning to meditate, and my wife said, hey, I want to lay down over here and try just a different method of laying down. So, I decided, hey, I'll do it with you, and we laid down and held hands, and that's when the trance really truly began. And this trance was getting out every bit of pain and anguish and fear that was inside of us. My wife mentioned that she felt like it was locked on our first two chakras, fear and the one dealing with pain and pleasure. Now in this trance, it went through about 3 different cycles for me. The first was hysterically crying harder than I ever have. The second was hysterically laughing harder than I ever have. And the third was hysterically screaming louder and harder than I ever have. So what happened was my wife and I were laying there and we were holding hands, and when the trance would hit me, it's almost like my wife was healing my energy, and then it would switch and I would heal hers. I'd begin crying and I'd go through this fit of crying, and it was both painful. The whole experience was both painful and very orgasmic. It's like I felt a literal death as we went through this ego death. But anyways, as I'm crying, we're holding hands, and it's like I'd scream my energy out and transfer it to her, and her oming a certain tone would heal me, and then the energy would switch around and it would be vice versa. She would begin to cry and I would begin to take in her energy and om, and it's like as I was doing that, it was healing her. I'm definitely going to have to make a video with her involved so you can hear from her point of view how this all went. But it was very interesting because it reminded us a lot of an experience we had in 2015 where we had a very tantric experience, but this time it was like the tantra, except we weren't physically having sex, we were only holding each other's hands. But anyways, this trance went on for close to 2 hours, and it was very exhausting. But the tones we were making started off, low, and then they would go high, these oming sounds. Now imagine, if you will, these sounds are very similar to the sound you hear on DMT when you're beginning to blast off. It started low, and then it would get higher and higher as the cries or the laughs or the screams that one of us were having were beginning to become more intense. And it literally sounded like something blasting off, and it felt as if we were just flying through a time portal through most of it. And like I said, the sounds would go soft to high, so it would be like, and just oming these different tones. It was like healing one another. And since this trip, I feel no darkness in me. I feel no pain, no remorse for anything. It was like we completely, both of us, moved beyond a lot of what was holding us back recently in life, and it was just this darkness and this pain. One very interesting part of the experience was the end when I was screaming. I had a trash can in front of me because it felt like I was purging, and these sounds that I were making were very similar to the sounds a human being would make while throwing up. However, I wasn't throwing up, but it was like I was purging something out of me, and I could feel something dark and something evil. So me playing around with myself in the trip, I started making faces at myself in the trash can, and it was like I was somehow exerting all this dark energy out of me, and I could feel it. So it's like I was making faces back at it, like I was taunting it, just as I was purging it out. And I don't care how weird it sounds or how crazy it sounds, this was probably the greatest experience of my life, as terrifying as it was. Now from the outside looking in, the untrained eye, they would be looking at me and my wife like we were absolutely losing our minds. In a way, it almost looked like somebody who had taken way too much Flocka and been losing their mind, screaming, crying. However, this was all completely controlled, and we were completely conscious of everything we were doing. And that was the most interesting part of the experience, was how clear-headed we were. It was only, I believe, 160 micrograms what we took. And going into this trance, we were able to push it, as deep as when we've done, say, 900 micrograms. But the difference is we were so conscious of what was going on. We were in complete control, and we understood what was going on. And the great part of this whole trance as we were going through it was, on the deepest level ever that we've ever connected, I felt all of her pain, and she felt all of my pain. Now, we were able to do this only by holding hands. So now, on the deepest level ever, we understand where each other's pain comes from. So imagine if other human beings could do this, just sit there and meditate and hold hands and understand the pain that we've all been through, the pain that everybody's felt, and that would give us a better sense of empathy in the world, because that's one thing that's truly lost, is empathy, the ability to suspend your ego and understand another human being and what they've been through before you ever judge them, before you ever talk down upon them. Nobody's life is more important than anybody else. We're all equal. No human's life is even more important than any animal's life. Life is life. No one more important than the other. That's one thing I understood from this experience the other day, because it felt literally as if I was dying. So many thoughts were running through my head. It was really like an ego death, and it made me understand and feel on a deep level the deepest pains of everybody on the planet. And at the same time as it was beautiful, it was scary too. Like I said, physically it almost felt like I was dying, and I had to transmute this energy in the trance. But at one moment it literally felt like I had been ripped apart by bullets, and I was laying, dying, screaming in my last moments. And that might sound scary to a lot of people, but to me it's very enlightening, because because it makes you think as if you're in those last moments of life. And it makes you look back on how you've treated everybody, how you've acted towards people, the way you've judged people, you know, the way you've manipulated people. And it definitely makes you think hard on ever acting in those ways again. Now, I definitely wouldn't. It's been so long since I've acted in those ways. But it also gave me a really great sense of appreciation for everything I had in my life. You know, my friends, true friends, my family, all those people that have helped me out. It makes you really cherish the moments that you've had, all the memories, the good and bad, what you've learned from everything. This is, you know, one of my goals when I trip is to have an ego death type of experience every time. And every time I do, it changes me. And I've had people ask, you know, well, if you've had a life-changing experience, why do you need to trip again? Well, we should never stop changing. We should continue furthering ourselves. It's like every trip, I build on my character and build on who I am and what I want to do in life, and I make big leaps forward. But anyways, back to the experience. Me and my wife were really talking about how LSD is the alchemist's drug, and I've said this in videos in the past. And every trip we've had to do something ourselves to enhance the experience, to get it to go as deep as it does. And it's usually always with some kind of laughing or crying or dancing. And I feel like you should cry every single trip. I don't care if that sounds silly. Whether you're man, woman, it doesn't matter. You should cry every experience, and you should laugh every experience. You'll feel completely cleansed when you do. I'm going to keep this one a little short. It'll be better when I have my wife here to talk. I can feed off of her better. To be honest, I'm still a little nervous speaking in front of the camera. Being judged by people I don't know. It's something I'm working on getting over. Hopefully I'll be making more videos. I'm trying to make them daily. I've got a lot of stories to tell. Hopefully you guys like this video. If you did, please like, subscribe. It only takes one click to subscribe to the Eye of Phi. You can come philosophize with me, hear my stories. Hope you guys have a good day.